Today we'll be discussing laceration. A laceration is defined as an open wound in which there is tearing, rupture, or split of the full thickness of the skin involving the mucosa or the covering of an internal organ, along with damage to the underlying tissues due to application of blunt force. General features of the lacerated wound include shape and size, margins, angles, edges, base, floor of the wound, and bleeding. To begin with, the shape and the size of the wound bears no resemblance to the weapon producing it. The margins are irregular, angles are again irregular. They could either be obtuse, acute, circular, or of any non-specific shape. The edges are also rough, torn, and irregular. The most significant part of a lacerated wound is the base or the floor of the wound, where you can see the interdigitating connective tissue or tags of the tissues within the floor of the wound. And bleeding, which might be minimal as the blood vessels, they are crushed in a lacerated wound. Then foreign material is usually found in the wound when they are caused by blows from stones, bricks, bottles, or earthenware and falls on the rock. Soiling of the wound by mud, sand, machine oil, hair, and fibers get crushed, found embedded within the wound, and are of great medico-legal significance. The lacerated wounds are contaminated with foreign material, so chances of infection are common, and when they heal, they usually result in a well-marked scar. Now, finally, the important topic to be discussed here is that lacerated wounds can be produced after death, and these are basically the skeletonization effects of the animals and the rodents that eat out that flesh. And this is to be differentiated from the ante-mortem laceration. Ante-mortem wound is always going to have a vital reaction, and that vital reaction is signified and emphasized and predominantly stated by the inflammatory signs. That is the redness, the color changes, the temperature changes, high temperature, swelling, bleeding. All those signs are indicative of vital reaction which are absent in case of a post-mortem skeletonization. Mechanism of wound production. The force may be produced by some moving weapon or object or fall. Localized portion of the tissue is displaced by the impact of the blunt force. This displacement set up traction forces and tearing or rupture of the tissue. Bruises are produced concomitantly by the same mechanism, hence these types of injuries are often associated with bruises. Lacerations are more common when the skin is compressed between the force applied and the underlying bone. They are rare until severe force has been applied over the soft fleshy parts of the body such as breast, buttocks, and abdomen. Hair follicles are crushed, blood vessels are usually crushed, and bleeding is not as profuse as in case of incised wounds. In injuries to the scalp, the temporal arteries, they bleed profusely as they are firmly bound and unable to retract or contract. Classification of the lacerated wound. They depend upon the manner of their production, and they are classified as split laceration, stretch laceration, avulsion, and tears. Starting with the split laceration, it is a sudden compression of the tissue between two hard objects as shown in the diagram. A hard object like a wooden rod or an iron rod is being hit to the scalp, and there is the underlying bone. So the tissue, the soft tissues, the skin, the subcutaneous tissue, and the muscle, they get ruptured in between that iron rod and the underlying bone. They are found in the parts overlaying the bones without much tissue in between them, and the skin is firmly supported by the underlying bone. mainly seen on the scalp, face, hand, and the lower legs, the anterior shin part. They are usually caused by blunt veins and a perpendicular impact. External hemorrhage is minimum as there is crushing of the blood vessels. Edges and surrounding tissues are bruised. There is crushing of the hair bulb, and the tags of the crushed tissues can be seen at the base on the floor of the wound. Medical legal significance of a split laceration is very important, as already stated that this occurs in a place where there is tight soft tissue, tight subcutaneous tissue, and a tight muscular tissue, and there is a very less amount of that skin, subcutaneous, and the muscular tissue. Like for example, if we consider the scalp, the forensic anatomy of the scalp states that scalp is only 5 to 8 millimeter thick. So in this case, a split laceration might resemble an incised wound, which is to be then differentiated on a hand lens examination. On a hand lens examination, you'll quite easily appreciate and observe that the margins are irregular and the base of the wound is again very easily appreciated. The floor of the wound is appreciated, where you might see interdigitating connective tissue or the underlying bone might be completely exposed. The edges are going to be irregular, though on naked eye examination they might look like clean-cut wounds. The head should be properly shaved off for the proper examination of this injury, and hair, if present, are forced into the injury and the bulb of the hair is crushed. Stretch laceration, this is usually seen in industrial accidents, vehicular accidents, where part of the body gets trapped within the machine. As depicted in the diagram, it is the type of laceration which occurs due to extensive stretching of the skin beyond the limits of its elasticity, which causes tearing of the skin. And these are seen in areas where skin is supported loosely, such as axilla, abdomen, and fora. When localized pressure is applied along with push or pull force, it overstretches the skin, ruptures it, and separates it from the underlying tissue. A flap is formed which indicates the direction of the force, and then again this flap is to be appreciated when you observe it keenly, and with the hand lens the margins are going to be irregular, in contrast to the incised wound produced by a sharp edge weapon. If you check that flap or just flip that flap, the margins will be observed as clean cut in case of an incised wound, and they are going to be irregular in case of a stretch laceration. Medical legal significance of stretch laceration is that the injury is caused by a blunt tangential impact. For example, on the head, the laceration of the scalp, when the head strikes a motor car, windscreen, or run over by a motor vehicle, injuries or part of the body is caused in the moving machine. It is also produced when the sudden deformity of a bone occurs after fracture. Small stretch lacerations may occur due to glancing kick with a boot. External hemorrhage is limited. Grinding compression, again as depicted in the diagram, it is the type of laceration when there is separation of the skin from the underlying tissue. The mechanism of production is same as in stretch laceration, but a large grinding force is applied and a large area of the skin is involved. This is due to grinding compression of the tissues to such an extent as to separate the skin from the deeper structures, that is known as the degloving of the skin. And the crushing of the muscles underneath also occurs. There are extreme extravasation of the blood into the potential space of the crushed tissue. The wound shows swelling and it is extremely painful. Medical legal significance of avulsion is rarely the skin may not show sign of any injury, but the subcutaneous tissues are avulsed from the underlying fascia or the connecting tissue, producing a pocket. When such laceration occurs over a wider area, they may precipitate fat embolism and death. This is also known as a crush syndrome, and it's a OSPE question. The injury results from more or less horizontal crushing impact as commonly produced by an automobile wheel passing over a limb. It is called flaying of the tissue, which is type of crush injury. External bleeding from these wounds is generally limited due to the crushing of the blood vessels. Tears, these are due to impact against irregular or sharp objects as car door handles, blow from the broken bottles, or fall on earthen wear pots. There is irregular tearing of the skin and tissues. Foreign material may be found in the depth of the tissues. When the blunt force exceeds the tensile strength and the elasticity of an internal organ or tissue, laceration may occur in such organs without any surface tear. In such cases, there may or may not be an abrasion or bruise at the site of impact. Medico-legal significance of tear is a severe blunt impact may cause massive internal injury without causing any external evidence of injury, like a kick on the abdomen, may cause rupture of the duodenum, pancreas, or the liver and cause death within a few days due to peritonitis. Injury to the abdominal wall is seldom visible in these cases. The cases are usually homicidal, produced by hammer, brick, kick, stone, rods, and forceful punches. Suicidal are extremely rare as they are very painful, but a mental patient may inflict such injury on himself. Suicidal fall from a height or laying in front of a running vehicle may also result in such injury. The accidental involvement of these exposed parts and their severity is consistent with the circumstances of the case that in cases of traffic accident, industrial accident, and fall from rocks or fall from high buildings, which could either be homicidal or suicidal. As far as the Qisas and Diyat ordinance is concerned, laceration falls under Jurgair Jaifa Mutlahima, and the legal wing of the police is going to apply the section 337E3, and the court of law is going to give the punishment via the section 337F3. Finally, coming on to the pathophysiological effects and the complications. The early complications are shock due to hemorrhage, air embolism, fat embolism, and injury to the vital organs. The late complications are infection, fat embolism, crush syndrome, and miscellaneous indirect factors like fracture of the bone, degloving of the injury, the degloving and crushing of the entire limb might cause the either fat embolism or any such neurogenic or hypovolemic shock due to extensive bleeding. Thank you.